Hey folks, the Black and Gold Daily Blitz. I'm Tito, Jeff Thidoff. Follow me on Twitter at FitHappens. Fan Sports app, powered by DSP Media, is free for Apple and Android users. Go check it out. We're adding new content, new shows all the time. Round-the-clock programming we got out there. So many new things we're adding for different teams, different areas of the country, all of that. You can also go to fanstreamsports.com. We have a FanStream Sports Ohio specific page also for all the stuff we do here. But lots of great stuff. The Facebook page, please go check that out as well. Lots going on. All right, let's talk this week now. The 1-0 Steelers. Damn, it feels good to be 1-0. Taking on the 0-1 Seahawks on Sunday in Pittsburgh. Now, what's interesting is we'll get into some of the nuts and bolts of the game and stuff, but I wanted to say this first. So maybe it sounds cliche. That's okay if it does. I can live with that. But if you're 2-0, I think you've got about a 42% chance of making the playoffs. If you're 0-2, it's like 12%. Now, obviously, the Steelers can't be 0-2. The Seahawks could be. But just goes to show you how important it is to be 2-0, though. Getting a 2-0 start. And I said it before, there are should wins, there might wins, and there's some that really probably won't win. And the Jets game, I thought, was a should win. I think this is a should win game as well. It's a home game against Seattle. I know that Mike McDonald, the Seahawks, doing well on the road with him as their head coach, but this is a game Pittsburgh should win. After that, they travel to New England, another winnable game. They play Minnesota across the pond for their bye week. Then they get Cleveland, and then it's at Cincinnati. So when you get to that Cleveland game now, you're talking at that point the Steelers will be 5 games in. They better not be 2-3 after playing Cleveland, and they need to be at least 4-1. That's what they really need to be, because their schedule gets really tough down the stretch this year, as we know. We'll get into more of that later on. But the Seahawks now are coming to town, and the Steelers' defense, they've already got a couple of starters that were out. Deshaun Elliott, the safety, and then Derek Harmon, the defensive tackle, is also out as well. He's got the knee injury he suffered in preseason. He's not back yet either. Now they found out a third player, a key player. Cornerback Joey Porter Jr. is going to miss this game as well. So it looked like Porter might be able to play. He had some hamstring tightness against the Jets, but he is not going to play. So Pittsburgh now down 3 defensive starters. Nick Herbig goes back. That's a big news for the Steelers, the edge rusher for them. That'll be a big boon for them to get him back there in the mix. Like I said before, the Steelers defense did not play well against the Jets. No doubt about it. No sugarcoating that. But they are better than they showed against the Jets. So I'm not concerned about the defense. This will be a good test for them. Seattle has not been able to run the ball very well, and they did not run the ball very well in their first game, I should say. You had Kenneth Walker III. He had 20 yards on 10 carries against the 49ers. Zach Charbonnet had 47 yards rushing on 12 carries. And look, the Seattle running game is inconsistent at best. This is a chance for a get-right situation for the Steelers as far as run defense goes. Derek Harmon, once they get him back, it'll make a huge difference, because Keanu Benton is the one who is kind of manning that position where Harmon would be, and he did not have a good game last week against the Jets. So when they can get him in there, if you have Harmon and you also have Cam Hayward there, you got your edge rushers healthy, this defense is going to be scary. So I want to see how that plays out. I want to see if Benton has a better game, if they do some rotating there to try to mix things up. But stopping the run game, very important for the Steelers on Sunday against Seattle. We know that Sam Darnold's their quarterback, and Darnold had a fantastic year last year for the Vikings. Not sure. We'll see what he does this year. He had a fumble in his first game late, but we'll keep an eye on that, though. But Darnold's not – the Steelers – Darnold's not going to beat the Steelers. Let's put it that way. On the defensive side of the ball, it looks like probably Jalen Ramsey matched up against JSN, Jackson Smith-Njigba, the wide receiver out of Ohio State, and he is the one that will get the bulk of the looks. I know they have Cooper Kupp. I get that. But JSN will be the main receiving threat for the Seahawks, and that's where we're going to try to go. So Jalen Ramsey will be tested there on that one, and I can't wait to see how Jalen Ramsey does against JSN. Again, he's got Sam Darnold throwing to him, so Steelers should be fine there. And they should be able to pressure, hopefully, on Darnold to disrupt things. Flipping over to the offensive side of the ball for the Steelers, DK Metcalf, homecoming for him. Homecoming because not going home. They're playing here in Pittsburgh. He gets to face his former team. Let's go. Let's do it that way. Facing his former team. And Metcalf played 54 out of a possible 56 snaps last week. So he was on the field quite a bit with the offense. Calvin Austin played 45. And so those two guys were in there for the bulk of the snaps. No other receiver played more than 10 snaps in that game. So we'll see what happens. See how the Seahawks try to defend Metcalf and see what happens with the receivers for the Steelers. Look, DK Metcalf and Calvin Austin III, they're going to be the top two guys. There's no doubt about that. They've established that. Will the Steelers go get somebody else at the trade deadline? Maybe. But I've said all along that, Jonnu Smith might be the number 3 receiver on this team, even though he's a tight end. So we'll see how it all plays out this week. The running game is what I really want to focus on here. Kenneth Gainwell he's not the guy I want to be the number 1 back, but he ended up having more carries, more snaps than Jaylen Warren last week. Gainwell had 28, Warren had 24, and Caleb Johnson, the rookie, only played 2 offensive snaps. So, that's 56 roughly snaps in that one. And I just like to see it divvied up a little bit differently. I hope Caleb Johnson gets more play in this game. And I like Jaylen Warren as a threat more than Kenneth Gainwell. So you can't really judge the running back based on last week because how bad the offensive line was. And the offensive line was bad last week. Broderick Jones, I talked about him earlier in the week, still struggling. And the fact they traded up to get him in the first round a couple years ago, he's got to get it fixed. I think Broderick Jones is on a very, very short leash. And we'll see how he does if he can get better, hopefully. That would make a big difference. But the Steelers' offensive line, regardless of who it is that steps up, the offensive line has to play better. Seattle last week ended up giving up a bunch of yards, all-purpose yards. The 49ers running backs gave up 211. So that should tell you the Steelers can have some success running the ball against Seattle. What are we going to say about Aaron Rodgers? I mean, his last 2 games he's played now, he's got 4 touchdown passes in each one. So his last 11 games now, he's got 22 touchdown passes and 4 interceptions. The key to Aaron Rodgers is going to be keep him upright. The offensive line has to protect him better. Now, he did say last week, Rodgers said he wasn't as mobile because he had some tightness in his back. Hopefully that's not the case this week against Seattle. Hopefully it's not necessary this week against Seattle. If the offensive line play a cleaner game, Rodgers got sacked 4 times, knocked down numerous others. If the offensive line can play a cleaner game, I think Seattle wins this game. It's like a 3-point. I think Pittsburgh wins this game. I'm all over the place today. Pittsburgh is a 3-point favorite coming into this. I think they should cover that. If it gets to like 4.5, I won't get that. If it gets to 3.5, I'd be a little more weary of it just because I don't like that hook. I feel very comfortable taking the Steelers at 3. I think they will win this game and get to 2-0. And then after that, like I say, you got to start stacking the wins. You look at how many wins does it take to make the playoffs. This year, if you win 10, you should be in. If you get the first 2 out of the way like this, and then you get New England on the road next week, get it up to 3 before you play Minnesota, then you get the bye week, then Cleveland. I mean, there's real opportunities there for Pittsburgh to jump out in front and have a really good record after 5 games into the season before they have to play the Bengals. The schedule starts getting tougher after that, and they have a brutal finish to their season. But let's worry about Seattle on Sunday. Fantasy Sports app, free. Download it, Apple and Android users. Make sure you check it out. And also, fantasysports.com, the website, Fantasy Sports on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter, on the X. I'm at FitHappens. Would love to hear from you, folks. We'll talk after, hopefully, a Pittsburgh win over Seattle this weekend. Take care.